right. So is everyone able to see and hear me okay?
Yes.
All right. So with that, I think we can go ahead. Hello, everybody. My name is Nicole Ramberg-Peel. Thank you so much for being here today. I am the Develop Fellow at Goddard Space Flight Center in Maryland. I joined Develop as a program participant in the fall of 2019 at our Massachusetts Boston node. And I worked there on two projects, the 2019 Fall Central Java Disasters Project and the 2020 Summer Cambridge Urban Development Project. And I'm going to be going through the presentation today to give you a little bit more information about the Develop program. I'm also joined by my colleague Rochelle Williams, who's a senior fellow at Marshall Space Flight Center, and she's going to be moderating the Q&A session along with Stephanie Burke, who is our Develop Operations lead. So I'm going to let both Rochelle and Stephanie introduce themselves. Rochelle, would you like to go first?
Yes, thank you so much, Nicole. Hi, everybody, and welcome. My name is Rochelle Williams, and as Nicole has said, I am a senior fellow with the Develop program. I've been with the Develop program since the spring of 2019 at this stage, and I transitioned into the senior fellow position last fall and have had a great experience. Absolutely have loved working with the Bhutan projects, and I'm excited to talk to you all today about some great information and answer some great questions. So I'll hand it over to Stephanie.
Hi there, I'm Stephanie Burke. I've been with, I'm the operations lead currently for Develop. I've been with Develop for a little over 4 years now, previously in a role of a human resources lead, and then transitioned over into the operational role. I handle the operational and administrative tasks of the program, as well as some other tasks outside of that lane. And again, excited to sit here. I love these webinars, and happy to answer any questions you might have towards the end. Thanks.
Great. So to start off, the Develop program falls under the larger umbrella of NASA's Earth Science Division. And this division of NASA advances the understanding of the Earth system to improve the quality of life on our home planet. The division conducts and sponsors research, collects new observations, develops technology, and extends science and technology education to the global community. Working closely with global partners in government, industry, and the public, the Earth Science Division enhances economic security and environmental stewardship that benefit society in a lot of tangible ways. The Earth Science Division conducts and sponsors research to answer fundamental science questions about the environmental changes challenging our planet and delivers sound science to decision makers. So all of our projects at Develop utilize data from NASA Earth observations, so satellites. And the agency's fleet includes a coordinated series of polar orbiting and low inclination satellites, as well as instruments on the International Space Station for long-term global observations. NASA Earth observations are designed for various purposes related to global monitoring, such as precipitation estimation and water quality assessment, land cover change analysis, air quality evaluation, and several other applications. But more specifically, within the Earth Science Division, you can find Develop under the NASA Applied Sciences. The main goal of the NASA Applied Sciences is to discover innovative and practical applications for NASA Earth science. And we do this by partnering with public and private organizations to examine ways in which our work may support their environmental decision-making activities, with the ultimate goal of improving quality of life and strengthening the economy. So the Applied Sciences currently works in 10 different application areas, and we complete projects in agriculture, ecological forecasting, water resources, energy, urban development, transportation infrastructure, health and air quality, disasters, wildfires, and climate. And you can see that on the slide, we have these thematic application areas, as we call them, and the associated symbol with each one of those. Develop is also part of NASA's Applied Sciences Capacity Building Program, so along with RSET and SERVIR. RSET is our Applied Remote Sensing Training Program. They offer various trainings and webinars that help build skills in the use of remote sensing analysis. And many of their trainings are available online and are self-paced. And then SERVIR is a joint collaboration between NASA and USAID and provides state-of-the-art satellite-based Earth monitoring data, geospatial information, and tools to help improve environmental decision-making among developing nations. And you can see we have the symbols for our capacity building program. We also have RSET, Develop, and SERVIR. All right, so now that we've set the stage a little bit, we can jump into Develop and talk a little bit more specifically about our program. So Develop is unique because we collaborate with decision makers to conduct what we call feasibility projects. So these apply NASA Earth observations to address environmental issues. These projects engage early career professionals, including students and recent graduates, as well as individuals making a career transition. And these are done in 10-week projects that identify opportunities to use NASA satellite data to create methods and tools for our project partners that we work with during our terms. And this directly supports both individuals and institutions while increasing the use of NASA Earth observation data and enhancing decision and policy making. So going off of that, you might be wondering, well, who is it that actually participates in Develop? The participants who make up our teams come from various backgrounds and include recent graduates, military personnel, students, transitioning professionals. And the advisors on our projects are typically NASA researchers or scientists from partner organizations. And the decision makers that we work with come from, several different places. We have state and local government, federal agencies, NGOs, even international institutions. Some of our frequent partners on our projects include the Nature Conservancy, the USGS, as well as the National Park Service. And you can see that on the slide here. We have some examples of some of our participants, project teams, our advisors, and some of the decision makers, these end users that we partner with for our projects. So now you might be wondering, well, where are these opportunities located? Develop locations are housed in various NASA centers and institutions across our country. Our National Program Office is located at the NASA Langley Research Center in Hampton, Virginia, but each node has a unique set of opportunities to offer. For example, the Colorado node works really closely with the USGS, while the Alabama node tends to partner with NASA SERVIR. Since the pandemic started, all of our work has been conducted virtually. As of now, the summer 2022 term will offer both in-person and virtual opportunities, and these are outlined in the proposed project document that you can find alongside the application portal. So if you go onto the application portal, please pay attention to the type of opportunity, the in-person versus virtual, listed in parentheses after each project title. So each year, approximately 55 to 65 projects take place in Develop, and all of our projects share similar characteristics. So each project must highlight the applications and capabilities of NASA Earth observations. And we do often use data from other agencies like commercial sources, and we'll use that in conjunction with NASA data. But our projects address real-world community concerns related to environmental decision-making. Developed teams must also partner with organizations who can benefit from using NASA Earth observations to enhance their decision-making practices on the ground. And all of our projects have to align with one of the 10 application areas that I mentioned a few slides ago. All of our projects are also completed by interdisciplinary teams, and they do that under the guidance of science advisors and mentors from NASA and partner organizations. And each of our teams also create a comprehensive set of deliverables to communicate their work. So we have a strong focus on science communication in our program. These include technical reports, a presentation, and a creative communication deliverable such as a poster or an Esri story map. So now what we have are a few examples of past projects. The first one that we have is the Bhutan Ecological Forecasting Project. So the Develop Bhutan Ecological Forecasting Team partnered with the Bhutan Foundation, the Bhutan Ecological Society, and the Bhutan Tiger Center to acquire information on land cover change and elephant habitat suitability along the southern border of Bhutan. The team utilized Esri ArcGIS Pro and Software for Assisted Habitat Modeling, also known as SOM, for data analysis, modeling, and visualization. The team used elephant occurrence data and environmental variables to model current habitat suitability for migrating elephant populations. And then this analysis was helpful because it provided partners with maps to inform decisions about the placement of and conservation of elephant corridors, which helps to build their capacity to use satellite data for future studies and project planning. And in the image on the screen, basically what you see before you, the areas of high suitability are shown in red, while areas of low suitability are shown in blue. So that's showing that habitat suitability analysis that the team was able to conduct during the term. And next, we have an example from our Bhutan Water Resources 3 project. So the Bhutan Water Resources 3 team partnered with the Yugin Wangchuck Institute of Conservation, the Environment and Environmental Research, the Bhutan Foundation, and the Karuna Foundation to assess forest changes for focus districts from 2000 to 2018. The project used pre-processed meteorological data along with optical satellite imagery to assess phenological changes. They also observed patches in tree mortality and they tracked forest recovery. The team also developed an app called Forest Disturbances Detection Toolbox, also abbreviated as FDDT. And this assessed forest changes in Bhutan. And the geo-coordinates for known disturbances were provided to us by the end users for correlation analysis. And the project's tool helped project partners aid their forest management efforts in Bhutan. And the example that you see here on the screen, what is showing is what the overall tool looks like, and it highlights some of the functionality that it had. So this is an interactive tool that the partners can use moving forward to aid in their forest management efforts. And the last project example that we have is from the Bhutan Agriculture Project. So the NASA developed team here partnered with the Department of Agriculture in Bhutan, the Bhutan Foundation, and the Yugin Wangchuck Institute of Conservation and Environmental Research to address Bhutan's need for increased agricultural monitoring capacity. Using optical and radar satellite imagery, the team developed a sampling protocol that identified rice plantations and it supplemented field surveys for more efficient agricultural monitoring. The team provided the partner with a crop mask developed using a random forest model for rice identification and to aid crop management in the Kingdom of Bhutan. And this project will be continued in summer 2022, working with the same partners and then building off of the success and the end products of the first term. And on the screen here, you can see two images of the landscape on the left without the crop mask. And then on the right, you see the same images with that rice crop mask in orange. So in terms of eligibility, you must be 18 years or older and have a minimum of 3.0 GPA to participate. And this can be your cumulative GPA or your most recent semester. As I mentioned earlier, we accept current residents, we accept current students, recent graduates, and early career professionals, or transitioning career professionals, as well as U.S. military service members and veterans. And we like our applicants to come from interdisciplinary backgrounds, though most of our applicants do tend to be from STEM fields. But at the end of the day, no experience is required. What we're really looking for is a strong interest in GIS and remote sensing. And obviously an overall interest in science is important, right? So we're really looking for folks that are interested in learning how to build their capacity to use Earth observations and get an experience that might be something different than what you've done before. We accept US citizens as well as foreign nationals with a few caveats. So US citizenship is required to apply to NASA locations at, to develop locations at NASA centers, as it says on the slide. The exception are the Bhutan Special Projects, which are actually hosted at NASA centers. So projects like these examples that we just went over. But Bhutanese scholars who want to apply to non-special Bhutan projects would need to have citizenship if it is housed at a NASA center. Our regional locations in Massachusetts, Colorado, Idaho, Arizona, and Georgia do not require US citizenship. Foreign nationals must apply, must also be currently enrolled in or recently graduated from an accredited US school, and acceptances are conditional upon proof of a visa or approved CPT OPT, and that will allow them to work within the United States. We have 3 terms per year in the spring, summer, and fall, and this means that we accept applications 3 times a year. So note that participants who apply and are accepted and they would like to continue with another term, they must reapply each term. So after going over all this information, you might, be wondering, what is it that makes a successful developer? Well, the first thing is we like somebody who works well on a team. Collaboration is really key to the success of a project. Participants should also have a willingness to learn. So skills you learn at Develop go beyond GIS and remote sensing. So participants should want to learn to improve technical skills, presentations, professional skills. So there's a lot more than just the technical aspect involved in the Develop program. We also look for, developers that are flexible. So flexibility within a project as things change, learning to overcome challenges is really necessary. There's a lot to do in 10 weeks, and 10 weeks is not a very long time. So flexibility is something that we say is an unofficial core value of our program. Participants benefit from being hardworking and positive. These are, 2 traits that will really help a team accomplish a lot in that short 10-week period. And a developer should also be motivated and, be willing to motivate others. Our projects are unique. They're led entirely by the Develop team. So you'll need to be motivated to meet deadlines and advocate for the needs of your partner organizations that you're working with. And most of all, developers are passionate about the Earth and excited to grow their skill sets, both technically and professionally. So as we go on and we talk about the benefits of Develop, in our program, you are going to improve your scientific and technical skills in GIS and remote sensing, science communication, and the use of NASA Earth observations. Participants also develop personally and professionally by improving their presentation and communication skills, finding confidence in the workplace, taking on leadership roles, even networking with science professionals and partner organizations. And one of the biggest things is you gain experience working on a team. And you'll notice that many of our participants come from technical and science-related majors such as geography and environmental science, or GIS, engineering, and even chemistry. I personally was an environmental biology major and a chemistry minor in my undergrad. But we also have participants from accounting, public policy, economics, and communication backgrounds. Develop is open to all majors, and some common software and programming languages we use in our projects include Esri, ArcGIS, Envy, Python, R, and even Google Earth Engine. No previous experience with these programs is required, but applicants should be eager to learn and recognize that an ability to learn is necessary. All of our positions are paid, and our pay rate is determined by education level as well as your in-person and teleworking location for virtual experiences. So we know that choosing between an in-person and virtual opportunity might be difficult. So we've gathered a summary of the similarities and differences in what each type of opportunity offers. So both in-person and virtual projects entail close collaboration with your team members and guidance from Develop advisors. And all teams engage with decision-making partner organizations and produce deliverables that ultimately allow them to communicate their project's methods and results. We will continue to offer professional development opportunities to the online and program-wide projects. Now, for some benefits unique to each type, If you work in person, there may be opportunities to tour facilities or attend meetings and presentations that are interesting to you. There's also team building and networking that can be enhanced in an in-person environment. However, on the other side, the great benefit of a virtual project is that there's a little bit more flexibility, an ability to participate when you're not geographically near a developed location. So whichever you choose, be assured that we will fully support and offer resources to both our in-person and our virtual teams. So if you think that Develop might be right for you, here are the relevant dates for our upcoming terms. So it's never too early to be thinking about, what your plan is for the summer or for the fall. And these dates are also found on the NASA Develop website. So for the summer 2022 application window, which is what we are currently in right now, it opened on January 17th and it is closing on February 25th. So that date is coming up. We also have the dates for the term here, which starts in the summer. So it's June 6th, and that's going to run until August 12th. And you can also find Develop on social media. Facebook and Twitter are great ways to see what we are currently up to in our program. We also have a huge archive of project videos from past projects up on our YouTube channel. So if you'd like more detail about the topics and the community concerns that our work addresses, you can check out some of these sources. And our website also has a lot of information related to our program. There's actually a page with an archive of our past projects. So you can also ask any questions that you may have anytime using what we call the NASA DL email, which can be found on the website. And with that, I would just like to say thank you so much for taking time to listen to our presentation and learn a little bit more about our program. And we would be happy to take any questions at this time. So I'm going to put up a slide of frequently asked questions. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to our moderator, Rochelle, to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you so much for that wonderful presentation, Nicole. Yes, so we are open to take any questions right now. If you want to type them in the chat or if you want to raise your hand or unmute, we'd be more than happy to answer any questions that you have at this time.
Hi, I had a question. It's Denson. So I worked with Develop on spring of 2021. So, it says that if you want to participate, like as a returning applicant, sorry, you had to participate within the last year, meaning like previous 3 terms. So I put yes, but I was wondering if this term also includes as a previous term. So do I have to start a new applicant, or do I come as a returning applicant?
So you should be able to, and I'll pass this over to Stephanie just to verify, since it's 3 terms since the last time you participated, so I believe she could still reapply as a returning applicant because it is still in that 3-term window. Now, if you were to apply after summer, then you would have to apply as a new applicant if not accepted into that term.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, and Tenzin, I actually looked at your application today and you're correct. You're supposed to be in the returner, so everything looks good.
Great. Any other questions that we have out there?
Rochelle, I had a question about being in person. It's because most of us have issues with finding a home. If we were to do in person, I was wondering if there would be any assistance or like, is there any place you would recommend us to stay in? Because we would have to stay for 10 weeks. So it's kind of like probably 2.5 months. So we would have to find a home for that. I was wondering if you all have any assistance for that as well.
So within the Alabama Marshall location where the project would be based out of, we do have a list of places to look to find housing, and I'll also throw to Stephanie for any additional information. But if the project were to be conducted in person, in Huntsville, Alabama, we can help coordinate for places to look and where to start investigating, but the Develop program itself does not pay for those places to live or provide additional funding. But yeah, I'll pass it over to Stephanie to see if there are any clarifiers or updates to that.
Oh, sorry, I had to get myself off mute. Yeah, typically that is how we would handle participants that are traveling to locations, but I think I'm going to pass it off possibly to Karen. I saw Karen come on. Karen, did you want to contribute to that question?
Sure, I can jump in real quick. So one thing that we are hoping to gauge a little bit on this call is to see the feasibility for the Bhutanese scholars for the summer 2022 term, and whether or not it would be feasible to be in person or if virtual is currently the best option for you all. If it is going to be an in-person term, it will be at Marshall Space Flight Center in Huntsville, Alabama. And because it is the Bhutan Special Project and we do have State Department funding to support this work, if it is in person, then all of your travel expenses and housing would be covered under those funds. So this is separate and different from a typical Develop term, and for any other Develop project, that is not the case. But for the Bhutan Special Project, if it will be in person, all travel expenses, housing, any cost incurred while being in person for that 10-week term would be covered under the State Department funding. So that's one clarifier there. So maybe if we can open it up and try to gauge feasibility in regards to the summer term, if you are interested in applying it or have applied, if you would be available and interested in the in-person, or if virtual is the best opportunity for you.
For me, I'd want to go in person because, yeah, I've gained a lot of knowledge and experience with presenting online. But if I were to put in a scenario where I have to present in front of other people, like in person, I don't think I have that much confidence, as I would say. So I want to gain that experience as well.
Thank you so much, Shishi. Anyone else on the line who would like to comment about in-person? And then Sonam, if you would also like to comment on this, or we could take your next question here in a moment.
All right. Hi. I do have a question. It's about the eligibility. I've already completed the form, and I was wondering if there's a time period for getting approved, because I think I did it like around this time last week, and it's still in the gray status area. It said it will turn into blue. Only then I can like move forward with my application. So I just wanted to know like if it's like if it's under like getting approved, or when it will be approved so I can start my application.
Hi, yeah, I'm looking at it right now, so I'm just going to view it. I think it probably has to do, okay, so you are fine to go in and apply. If you, the message that you receive for review, there should be a link towards the end of that message that should guide you to apply, but I can also send you the link if you need it. There's Karen again, she's going to comment, go for it.
Sorry, just to clarify, so Sonam, there's not actually a reviewal process of the eligibility form. So if you log back in to the eligibility portal, and you'll see there's a gray box with your name on it, and it will likely say in review. If you click on the gray box, it will take you back and you can view your eligibility form. And if you click on view at the bottom, beneath the questions that you already responded to, If you're eligible, there will be a blue link that you can click on to take you to the applicant portal. If you don't see a link, then reach out to Stephanie or to the DL Develop email address on our website, and we can help coordinate you through that. But it's basically once you answer the eligibility questions, if you're eligible, then a link pops up. You can click on that and continue to the application portal. If you're not eligible, then it takes you back to the main screen. But if you have submitted, then you just need to go back and view that form so that you can get to the link.
All right, thank you so much. I'll do that, and if it's still not working, I'll reach out to you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, perfect. And Sonam, your eligibility looks fine, so you should be able to go back in and see that link, but just email us at our NASA DL if you still have problems or issues.
All right, thank you. I'll do that.
Thank you so much for your question, Sonam. And if we can go back, if there is anybody else who would like to jump in about in-person or virtual opportunity, we would love to hear your feedback. Other than that, we can move on to any other questions.
I agree with what Ishe had to say. I really liked the virtual version too, but I think this time it would be better if we go in person at some point. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Tenzin. So again, as you're reading through some of these frequently asked questions, hopefully you were finding some answers, but you can also see here on the screen that we have our NASA DL develop at mail.nasa.gov email address that's been mentioned. If you do have questions throughout the application window, please send an email to this DL email so that we can get those questions answered for you as soon as we can. But are there any other remaining questions here while we're still on the line?
I think I'm good, except for the letters of recommendation. It says one can be from a professional source. So I'm working right now on student employment. So is a recommendation from one of my supervisor acceptable as well?
Yes.
That would be acceptable. Okay, thank you. I think I'm good now.
All right. So I'll just put out one last call for questions. All right. Well, thank you everyone so much for joining. And again, if you do have further questions, please send us an email. We are more than happy to help you as you are going throughout this process. But again, thank you. And I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Everybody.
Thank you. Have a good one.